Okay.
Welcome back to Wild Woman Podcast. We have Divina here today from Mexico. We met, well, we didn't meet last month at Convergence Seattle at the Sacred Sons Retreat, but she reached out and wanted to share her story, so here she is. Divina, if you can just introduce yourself and tell us what made you answer to this call and say yes to this, and what is it that you do?
Thanks, Annette. So I am a medicine woman, somatic breath rate practitioner, and a womb witch. And my work is around to help support women connecting to their wombs. Career women that are super successful but experiencing womb disconnect. My work helps them to come back into the sacred power of their center, helping to reconnect to their sensual energy, to their creativity, helping to ease menstrual symptoms, really just reconnecting the mind, the heart, and the womb so that we can come back online to the women that we are supposed to be for our families, for our careers, for our children, and most importantly, for ourselves. So that's a little bit about what I do. And you sent a message in our group chat, in the C9 group chat, and I found it pretty interesting, and that's why I ended up reaching out to you, because I've been receiving the message to share my voice, to share my story around how I got into womb work, why I do the work that I do. And so, yeah, here we are.
That is so beautiful, Divina. Thank you. And I love the way you explained the service that you offer to the world and to women. It's so beautiful because it is ultimately for ourselves. And then it can trickle out into a friend, a family member, and then the world. And it's just so beautiful the way you explained it. Thank you. And I feel that it's very important because everything is stored in the womb. It starts. We start in the womb, and our creativity also starts in the womb. So thank you for sharing that. I love that. So we're going to go ahead and go right in. The purpose of this conversation, the sacred conversation, is to allow Divina to share her heart and her story and her why and how she found her beautiful service, and just to really be vulnerable. And I think it's very beautiful when we can be vulnerable in a safe space and help somebody else that's in need, that can hear our story and that it can touch somebody else. So let's go ahead and first just land with a couple of breaths. I have a beautiful little altar here for you. I have a beautiful stone that my best friend gave me. It's a beautiful shiny stone. It's so sparkly. I have a beautiful candle here lit for you and a beautiful woman holding the world. So this is just to honor you, to honor that you are here and to honor your story and your why and your beautiful service to the world. So let's just take a couple of breaths to land, just to really just land in the space. And just thank our guides, our guardians, for bringing us here today, for hearing the call, for being brave. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing this conversation to be in your flow. And all that needs to be heard and felt and seen and shared, it will be. Thank you. Thank you, Divina. So what I do want to ask you is going to be the start of the conversation, if that's okay with you, is what is your greatest wound, Divina?
That's an interesting question. So I'm gonna say that a part of why I do the work that I do is because for many, many years I was deeply disconnected from my wound. And that was a wound, so to speak, that I wasn't aware was a wound because, we're taught that painful menstruation is normal, that irregular cycles run in the family, that, you know, ovarian cysts are just a part of what it is. It's fine. So like all of these things that I was experiencing, I was being told like, oh, take an Advil, like it's fine. Or we can do a surgery and we can like cut you open and cut it out. Those are your options. And so that was definitely a really big wound, so to speak, or something that deeply needed my attention, that deeply needed healing, that deeply needed my presence and my love, even though everyone around me was kind of like, oh yeah, it's normal. It's fine, it's normal.
Right. And what were you experiencing? What were the symptoms of you knowing that something else was wrong and that there was something that you can do about it?
Yeah. So at one point in my mid-20s, I was bleeding like twice a year. So like once every 6 months. And when I did bleed, it was like really dark blood. It wasn't like fresh, bright red blood. It was like really dark brown blood. There was a lot of clots. And it was painful. Even though I was only bleeding twice a year, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, I dread this thing that's coming. Like I'm so annoyed at my body, at my womb. Why does this even have to be a thing that happens? And so there was a lot of negative energy around experiencing my bleed, as well as the physical symptoms of pain, of discomfort, of what was actually passing through my womb. And on top of that, only bleeding twice a year, which is, you know, the average cycle is 25 to 30 days long. So imagine 6 months between bleeding.
Yeah. Right, right. What did, if you're able to share, where in your exploration and in your self-evaluation, where did you find that this wound and this deep calling was coming from?
Yeah, I've seen personally in my work that oftentimes when we experience issues with our wounds, it's intergenerational trauma. So my grandmother passed down to my mother, passed down to me through the womb, whether it's energetic clearing that needs to be done or trauma that has been held from generations before that gets passed down. Oftentimes, especially when it comes to womb work, it's intergenerational. I mean, it's also the beauty of the work, because in doing this work and doing this healing and bringing this attention to the womb space, it's not only healing my physical being, my physical body, it's healing what's being passed on to my daughters, and it's healing my grandmothers and my mother and her mother. And so it's just this really beautiful interconnected web of, you know, the red thread that we're all connected to.
Absolutely. Did you know that at that time, or did you learn this later?
Yeah, no, I had no idea. I didn't even learn until halfway through my journey that I was present inside of my mother, right? When she was inside of her mother. Born with all the so physically, the egg that produced me was present in my mother's body as she was present in my grandmother's body. So there was no awareness of the energetics of that, not to mention the physical reality.
Right, right. And when did you, where did you start? How did you start on your journey? Like, you know, did it start at the doctor's, and then how did it unfold for you? Like, where did it start, and what were you seeking, and how did it unfold for you?
Yeah, I guess you could say it started with doctors. It started them telling me that I would either have to have surgery or take medicine for the rest of my life, and me just kind of intuitively being like, I think no. I don't know what the thing is, but I think this, what you're offering, is a no. And so I went on a journey, and unintentionally, that's what unfolded on my journey. I sold all my stuff, and I booked a one-way flight to France, and I ended up traveling for like 4 years all over the world. And as I was traveling, one of the first things that happened was I landed in Peru. Well, I landed in Costa Rica and deeply connected to the medicine of cacao, which is such a beautiful grandmother medicine. I worked on a cacao farm, I learned how to make chocolate, and I found some deep energetic spiritual healing within the mother wound, the mother lineage, their medicine of cacao. And eventually then ended up in Peru, which was a whole different kind of medicine, but medicine that really allowed me to excavate my wound and to learn from other women who were practicing these indigenous ways of Yoni steam, herbal tinctures, of supporting the womb in really natural ways. And so that unintentionally and intentionally, right, deeply led by spirit, not by the mind, led me exactly where I needed to go, even though I didn't know that's where I was headed.
What a miracle, like how spirit, and when we listen and when we take the leap of the unknown, you know, like what a miracle how your body was telling you, pack up and go, not even knowing that you were going to meet these medicine women.
Mm-hmm.
That's so beautiful. That's amazing. The power of saying yes to we don't even know what it is. We just say yes.
Yeah.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And in your journey after Peru, what started happening to your body and your spirit and the transformation? What were you noticing, or what did you later discover after this excavation?
Yeah, definitely the biggest one was my bleeds naturally coming back into a normal cycle. I had one specific bleed after a series of plant medicines. I lived in Peru for almost a year. And so after a series of doing deep, deep work, I had probably the most painful bleed of my life. And I knew intuitively that this was also part of the clearing process. And after that, my cycles just magically went back into alignment. And so it was every 28 days. I was no longer experiencing pain. I was beginning to like look at my blood, to physically touch it, to feel it, to see, okay, I'm writing down this month, you know, bright red blood. What does this mean? Oh, okay, I'm having cramping. What does this mean? What herbs support me in a Yoni steam for next month? And I also began to integrate cyclic living into my life, into my being. So now, before I say yes to any engagements or agreements, the first thing I do is look at my calendars to see what part of my cycle am I. It's what leads my life. It's how I navigate, because I know that me being in this deep alignment is the way naturally that women, it's the way that we're meant to be. We're meant to live in cycles and to flow and ebb and play in different cycles. And so those are some of the biggest changes, I would say.
Can we talk about the Yoni steam?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't know about it, or would be so beneficial for other women to hear. That was also my first step in my healing journey, was a Yoni steam. What was your experience in your Yoni steam? In the actual ceremony of it, or the actual act of it, the preparation, and even sitting in it. What was it for you?
Yeah. It's really interesting. I'm thinking back. It feels like so long ago. Yeah. Definitely what I would say is coming through the strongest is the deep honoring of my Yoni. Like, this entire ceremony that I'm creating is to honor this part of me that before this moment I was so disconnected from. I only really cared about when someone else wanted it. yet
Mm.
here I am in this experience of lighting candles and setting incense and playing music and creating this ritual space that's really beautiful and intentional, and boiling water with herbs intentionally, and just giving myself 2 to 3 hours to just honor my yoni, to honor my vulva, to honor my vagina, to honor my womb. Like, that for me, yes, the physical experience was really potent, but just this mental shift into like, whoa, there is a part of me that can bring life into the world. And I have an opportunity to spend some time and energy to honor her. What a privilege to exist in this body where I can do such a thing. And so I would say that was probably the most profound for me.
Wow. I just like had this whole like way overflowing joy just go over me just hearing you explain all of this. It's so beautiful. It is so sacred. It's so sacred. The act of preparing a bath, even in our home today, you know, of preparing a cup of tea and sitting and just breathing and sipping. And it's so beautiful that you were able to experience that beautiful preparation of the ceremony of the honoring, as you said, was a couple hours of, you know, of ritual, and but of how many decades that we have never even done anything like this before for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so beautiful. How did you feel in the steam?
So many things, so many emotions.
Yeah.
So like sensual and like,
Mhm.
like breathing into that, the sensations of like, wow, this is like really luxurious, and I feel so feminine and soft, and I feel like a goddess, and like I want to just like rub my skin with honey and just like it's so delicious.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
That is so wonderful. And did you have any, if it's okay to ask, if you want to share, did you have any memories of some things that were maybe held in the wound that were maybe not even yours, that were dissolving in this steam?
No, not during Yoni steaming, no memories, but definitely a sensation of like, thank you, of feeling that my womb was like, thank you for finally acknowledging that I'm here. Thank you for finally making the effort to hear me, to connect with me, to be present with me. Thank you for not ignoring me. Thank you. Like, thank you. It was definitely deep gratitude.
Did you shed tears?
I think I probably did the first time.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
And in this whole, from the your journey of all of this, what was the hardest part? Where was there like maybe resistance or maybe doubt, or what was the hardest part of this entire journey until where you are today?
Um, Maybe I think that one of the hardest things was there was hmm, there was a feeling that I had to work through where I felt that my yoni in my womb, because of the things that I had put her through. And that was a difficult moment for me of like recognizing like a part of my physical being does not trust me because I've disrespected her and not listened to her no's before in relation with other beings, and heard her no's pushed anyways and allowed things to happen to her that were not and honoring. And so in that same moment, right, the duality of that was also recognizing, okay, this is difficult, this feels kind of shitty. And now how can I be better? How can I be different? How can I listen? How can I listen to what she's telling me, to listen to the subtle nuances of muscle tension when she's tightening and saying no, or when she's fully relaxed and open and fully present with whatever it is that I'm doing. How can I honor my Yoni in every moment that can be different from the ways that I didn't honor her in the past?
And you talked about, you mentioned honey. Every time I think of our wound, I think of honey, a hot, warm pot, and the movement of the hips and our sacred nectar. So how did you come to of being of service after what you learned and you experienced? What ignited inside of you with these practices that you were learning? What ignited, and what was your desire to be of service? And how did, what was that process like? Or what was the thought or the feelings, and how did you become to have your service of what you offer now?
Yeah, it definitely became pretty clear to me early on that there's no way I'm the only woman in the world that's being told that her only options are being cut open. There's no way in the world I'm the only woman who's struggling with bleeding every 6 months. Like, there's no way. And really just remember that we're and not have to say, like, hey, actually, I've been there and there's another way. If you want to know another way, if your spirit is telling you that there's another way, and I can show you the tools that I use that are tried and true, as they've supported me in this amazing journey, I can share them with you. I can share my blueprint with you, and you can achieve this inner balance, this balance of heart, mind, and womb. That
So ultimately, in sharing with women how they can heal themselves without surgery, and with natural holistic practices, and sharing your medicine, Divina. Sharing your medicine with these women, and this is how I did it, and becoming your own shaman. That's, all women are shamans, and we have the ability to heal. And once you're able to, like, really just listen, there's an outpouring of abundance of knowledge and of, of of medicine within us, just waiting to be acknowledged. So I love that you are sharing your medicine, and showing other women how they can heal as you did. That's beautiful. What a beautiful service. What a beautiful service. So what tell me about, what are the ways that you help women to connect with their womb, other than the herbs and the ceremony, the things that you experience? What are other ways that you help in connecting? Tell me about the sensual.
Yeah, so I do in-person work. I work with some companies, And so when they host their retreats, I go facilitate my workshops. And so I have a sensual dance workshop that helps women to drop in a form of energy healing. And so start with breath work, start with connecting to our sensual energy and move that. The two are, in my opinion, meant to be together, sensuality and movement, because naturally when we start to breathe into this sensual essence within us, like bodies start to move. That energy is like, ooh, yeah, like wanting to flow and move. So that's one of my favorite tools, these sensual dance workshops that I do. I have a full spectrum online virtual course called Blood Magic Shamanic Womb Wisdom. And that course carries pretty much all of my tools, everything and tutorials to womb massage tutorials to self-pleasure rituals to sensual dance. Basically, all of the tools that are close to my heart that have deeply supported me in my journey to get kind of a taste of what cyclic living is, because the way that the course is set up is for each season of our cycles so that they can go through the material in a way that's organic and actually aligns with wherever they are in their own cycles, which allows them to kind of feel, okay, what does it feel like if I end my work schedule so that I'm leading at less of a workload and I can rest? Or when I'm off meeting, I have the biggest projects and I can do the most because I have this energy. So this kind of cyclic living intro as well.
Beautiful. How drastically did your life change when you first you told me about the journey from through Peru and Costa Rica and look how you were held. Look how you were held. Like you didn't have a place to go. You were volunteering on these beautiful farms and learning the plants and being held, right? And then later, after saying yes, kind of the beginning of the saying yes and deciding and taking the leap, how drastically did your life change as far as your soul business, your soul clients, your calling in your service when you started honoring your cycle? Because that's huge. That's like the secret sauce. That's like your secret sauce in a way for all of us.
Yeah, I definitely feel that when we come into balance within our womb, within our bodies, it creates an energetic space where the universe can conspire with us. Really, things start to come, doors start to open, get into the right place at the right time, without really having to do anything other than be, other than existing in this body. It's like this cosmic alignment. It's this alignment that starts in the womb and moves and down, up through the crown and down through the root, and connects all that is above. When we are fully balanced in that connection, it's like I can give you the manifestations, I can show blessings, I can manipulate things, move things in a way that supports what you're doing because you're finally in balance.
Wow. And the just be, huh? You're like, you don't even have to do anything, just be. That's the magic. And, thank you for sharing that wisdom with other women out there that are feeling, how do I tap into my soul calling? How do I tap into abundance? And it's really just, with the honoring of the beautiful of our temple and a series of self-love and honoring and just being. I think it's miraculous.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that miracle with us, because that's here we are listening from Divina, like miracles do exist and you can manifest your dreams with just being. Like, really, this is like so much secret honeys and sauces that you're sharing with us. Thank you.
Yeah,
And it's so important because we are just trying to find our way, you know?
yeah, and the way is not outside of ourselves. For most women, the way is through the womb.
Yeah. What would you say to women out there that are feeling stuck and don't know where to start? What would you tell them? What guidance or what words or something would you give them that are listening?
Yeah, I tend to suggest just a really gentle breathwork exercise first thing in the morning. One hand over your heart, one hand over your womb. Just breathing deeply into your womb space so that you can feel that bottom hand expand as your belly expands with each breath. And just taking a moment, it's super, you can keep your hands there for 5 seconds. It's fine. As you continue, make this intention, set this intention and allow it to be your reality. And basically what you're doing here is just sending love into your womb space. You're just sending love. You're just saying, I love you. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. And sometimes there's more that comes up the more that this continues, right? Sometimes there's a sorry that needs to come out. Sometimes there's please forgive me. Sometimes there is I'm listening now. I'm here with you. I'm listening now. I want to learn your language so that I can understand the messages that you send me through my bleed, through my cervical fluid, through my pleasure, through all of these ways that you're constantly talking to me. But just start with a hand on the womb and a hand on the heart, taking some deep breaths and seeing how that feels. Also, I'm always available. I give free, not consultation, like connection calls where women can reach out to me and figure out where you are and how I can support you with some of the tools that I have available in my magical toolkit. Those two things would be my recommendations.
Such beautiful. We just had a free little session with Divina right now with like her own her own sacred rituals that she probably does with herself all the time. And that is so beautiful, Divina, because it's so simple. It's so simple and tangible. And we can literally be in the restroom at work doing this if that was the only space that we had. Or in the shower. You know, everybody takes a shower every day. Shower has always been my 20-minute window for pouring into her and cleansing and washing and visioning it going down the drain for a new start, you know. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do want to ask you just a few more questions. Do you feel like what you're doing right now is this your dream job?
Yeah. So I definitely had moments where I'm like teaching a sensual dance workshop or at a retreat, you know, holding space for women as they do this deep, beautiful womb work. And I look around and I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is the thing. 100%. There's nothing else that I'd rather be doing.
Wow, so beautiful. What did you used to do before?
I was a chef.
Really?
Yeah. I was a chef for a little over 10 years.
How funny though, still nurturing people.
Yeah.
Still nurturing people, like it's there. It was there already, still in you. It's born with it. What is something your little girl always wanted to do?
I think I would say play. I really enjoy playing now because I don't remember being able to play as much as I wanted to when I was little. And so giving my inner child that at any moment possible, whether it's like with my friends' children or with my puppy, like just play. It's none of it is that serious. Find a moment to play and laugh and just be.
Wow, that's potent right there. So simple, but so potent. It goes so far, right? Just the moment of being and playing and laughter. It's so healing.
Yeah.
Definitely is. And I do want to close with what are you working on? Is there any way that we can see your next offering, or I'll share your Instagram handle and then talk about what's in the works, what's brewing, and what is in the works for you right now?
So my Instagram is my personal Instagram, Divina
Okay,
Mujer
one more time.
_ Mujer.
_ Divina Mujer. Okay.
And then my business Instagram is divineconnections.love. And I'm working on a few things right now. I don't know if I'm ready to share, but I make chocolate. So I used to make chocolate, and there's definitely something in the works around a line of chocolate bars that supports each phase of the menstrual cycle. So that's what I'm working on.
Genius. Who doesn't want
Beginning of,
chocolate when we're
yeah,
Oh my God,
yeah,
I love it. Healing
yeah,
chocolatier for our
yes,
cycles. Like, just so genius. And what a beautiful way to play, right?
yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Divina, I want to thank you for sharing your wisdom and your secrets and how you did it. This is just golden nuggets that is so beautiful that you're willing to share with us and the world. And thank you for saying yes and sharing your process.
Yeah. To everyone who's listening for taking the time out. And free to reach out at any moment.
When is your next Zoom somatic dance? Because I want to tap into that. I wasn't able to make your last one, and I heard it was fire, and I want to rub some honey on my body. So when is that?
Yeah, so this month I actually switched it up. I'm doing a full moon sensual dance probably for the following month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So if we go to your Instagram, we can see your next class and the next following month of your schedule.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Divina. We definitely want to bring you back when you're ready to share the second part of your endeavors and what is next for you. We want to follow, our medicine women. We want to follow their process because it's just like a map for us, and it's a map for other women that don't, maybe have the resources or the people to come in contact with for this information. So it's so beautiful that you're willing to share this for free, and just the knowledge, because at least they know where to start, because they can do this in the comfort of their own home. So that is so beautiful. And thank you for being offering the opening of of being able to reach out to you for a consultation. That's huge, because some of us don't know where to start or need guidance. And I feel it's a whole nother form of, of being guided by somebody that actually went through it, So thank you for sharing your beautiful journey, and we would love to have you back. And thank you for speaking about honey and chocolate, all of
I
our
mean,
favorite things.
yeah, of course. Thank you for
You
having
know,
me.
yes, Divina, thank you so much, and we can't wait to make your next central dance and just see with your beautiful chocolate service that we're all going to be hitting you up for. Like, it's that time of the month. I need
Yeah,
my bloopers.
yeah, it's on the way.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And it's so simple. And it's just
Yeah.
so simple. Thank you for reminding us that that life can be simple.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. We love you. I
Oh,
see you, sister. I see you, sister. I see you in all your glory. I love it. We didn't get a chance to meet in to talk in Seattle at the Convergence retreat. And before we go quickly, if you wouldn't mind, what uh what was Seattle for you? What was maybe a breakthrough or something that you went home with? What was something that you went home with after Seattle? The men and women coming together in remembrance at a 4-day camping retreat in the mountains near the water.
Yeah, definitely hope. Hope that
Hmm.
we can come together. Hope that we can support each other in love and honor. Hope that we can stand shoulder to shoulder and that we can change the reality. We can. We literally can. And there's many, many souls that are choosing that. So, yeah, lots of hope.
Yeah, I think for a lot of us women, we didn't believe that men like that existed until we saw it in front of us.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. Thank you, Divina, again. Have a beautiful day. So much blessings and love on all of your endeavors and all of the new comings, and so much abundance upon you. You are doing magic in this world, and we need more women like you. We need you. So thank you for showing up, and thank you for saying yes, and thank you for stepping in and being like, this is who I am, and this is what I have to offer, and I just want to help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you
It's
for
a
your words.
beautiful self thing.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I'm going to go ahead and edit the recording.
Okay.